because we've just seen Rob Cross post a quite brilliant average, his best average ever in the Premier League, to dispose of the world #1 and Premier League leader Luke Humphries 6 legs to 4, despite the fact, Chris Mason, that Coolhand hit a 9-darter.
Yeah, I mean, it was a fabulous performance from both players, but the resilience shown by Rob Cross throughout the match, because he was literally having everything thrown at him, including that 9-darter. Yeah, massive credit to Rob Cross, because he could have easily let his head drop on plenty of occasions during that match. An average of 111.19. I mean, Humphries averaged 98.6, and when you see, well, a couple of the other matches we've had so far tonight, that would have been more than enough to have definitely got over the line, whether it had been 6-4 or 6-5. But as it is, a rare early defeat for Luke Humphries. And
more great statistical work from our chum Paul Nicholson, who's tuning into our watch-alongs from over in Belgium, where he's preparing for the Euro Tour event that starts tomorrow evening again, Nico. That's 5 9-darters in the PDC that Luke Humphries has hit, 3 on a stage rather than in a floor tournament. He's lost every match where he's hit the 9-darter on the stage.
It's a frightening stat, and I think the problem is it's such a huge moment that it's hard to maintain the focus for the rest of the match. You see it a lot in snooker when someone hits a 147. That session normally goes out the window.
So we're straight into quarter-final number 4 as we approach 9 o'clock on this Thursday evening, and it's sing-along at Aspinall time in a moment, because Nathan Aspinall is waiting at the end of the walkway, and you'll soon hear everything change. And here comes Mr. Brightside from the Killers, and it's the battle of the walk-ons, really.
Yeah, I personally prefer this one. I'm not particularly a titanium fan, but yeah, this is massive, and the crowd just love to get involved. I'm sure you can hear.
I think I can hear Alex Crook in there somewhere. Our chief football correspondent is somewhere inside that merging.
Oh, he's actually there.
Oh, he's in amongst it somewhere. Yeah, he's in with the VIPs, I imagine, with the hoi polloi, getting supreme.
We don't get them at the darts.
No, actually, that's true. There's no such thing as hoi polloi. Everyone mucks in together. What an atmosphere! If you've not been to a Premier League night, or indeed any night at the PDC Darts, get yourself involved.
Yeah, it's an occasion. We're down there, and they're down at Minehead literally just last weekend, and Robbie Williams' song comes on, and in between the breaks you got 5,000 dart fans singing it a cappella. It's quite remarkable.
And Nathan Aspinall now on the stage, just conducting the 5,000 fans, making sure they don't miss a note, and they're responding, as you might imagine.
That one Crookie then with the pink tracksuit on, was it?
Well, I'm not sure. I'm not sure whether he's an Oompa-Loompa or a traffic cone, or he could be anything up there. If he's got a pint in his hand, then it's a good chance that it's Crookie. Anyway, Aspinall has completed his walk-on, but he's got to wait now because the bullet's on his way. Who has changed his walk-on music to Titanium? It used to be Surfing Bird, because he was such a lookalike of Peter Griffin of Family Guy, who used Surfing Bird in one particularly ridiculous episode of that show. But Bunty changed it all round, and this has become a very, very popular walk-on. Now, Bunty is the only player of the 8 yet to register a point, and he looks very, very serious and focused as he makes his way down the walkway to the stage. No smiles yet from Bunty.
Well, he's taken on the player with the lowest Premier League running average of all the 8 players. So, listen, if you don't get a win tonight, then he's banging trouble even this early. We saw last year and the year before the effect of being bottom had on Peter Wright, and he just couldn't shake it off. And there's no real easy games. They get tougher as the campaign moves along.
Not just the battle of the walk-ons, it's the battle of the red and black shirts, both of them very similarly attired. Bullet making sure that everyone's joining in with his walk-on. I call that an even split between the response that the two players are getting.
Well, I always work on how long the DJ leaves it running for. It tells you
That's true.
how much interest the fans have in it.
And your walk-on music was?
Ace of Spades.
Of course. Bit of education for the masses. So, a few practice throws for both Aspinall and Bunting for the right to face Rob Cross in the second semi-final on talkSPORT 2.
That's not a particularly pleasant proposition after what we just watched.
Well, I wonder, yeah, because they'll have seen that just like you, me and Abby have watched that backstage, and look at a 9-darter ultimately meaning nothing to the world number one. Bunty's a bit behind schedule here. Aspinall's already taken his first 3 practice darts, and Bunty's only just sorted out getting his darts out of his hard shell case.
Yeah, players get 9 darts each, and then we will be underway now. Well, these two haven't met since February of last year, and they've only met 3 times since January 2023, and Bunty's won them all,
including 11-1 in that Masters game that you just talked about.
Yes, it was a thumping.
But Bunty's not really gone deep in too many tournaments. He did win the World Series of Dart Event 1 this year against Gerwyn Price, and lost the final of World Series of Darts 2 to Rob Cross, who he might face in the semi-final. But other than that, he's not really gone deep in any of the tournaments. He's yet to get off the mark in the Premier League, and he has to wait whilst Nathan Aspinall, who's got 5 points to his name, courtesy of a semi-final and a final appearance so far, gets us going with the darts in a race to 6 legs, remember.
Yeah, and when you're games where it is at the moment, where Bunty's is, and in particular this tournament, the kind of player you don't really want to be going up against is a Nathan Aspinall, who will make you work for every leg. He really is a street fighter of a player.
Just 28 though for Aspinall with his second visit.
And he did have a run, of course, to the quarterfinals of the UK Open. Wins over Martin Lukeman, Jürgen van der Velde, William O'Connor eventually.
Yeah, that was a tight one. Yeah,
stopped by Josh Rock, 10-7. But averaged 98 and a half. So indications that Aspinall's game is turning.
Although his win rate is he's still losing more than he's winning so far in 2025. 48% win rate. It was around about a 50% average in the past 2 years. It's not been where he wants it to be. If you think back to 2022, he had a 70% win ratio, Nathan Aspinall. So but then we have spoken for far too long about the various things he's been dealing with. It's just great to see him back on the Premier League stage and being competitive.
Well, we've got to go all the way back to February 18th, the last time Bunting won a match, and that was a win over Justin Hood, and that was in a Players' Championship. Hello, double 10 for 140. There you go.
What a start for Aspinall. Love that.
Yeah, ultimately lost to Cameron Menzies that day. He's then been beaten in the Premier League in the opening game against Humphries, no shame there, then beaten by Littler, and then beaten by Chris Dobey in round 1 of the UK Open. Thank goodness I didn't draw that one out of the bag.
Well, you would have been drawn out of the bag, but you were otherwise detained. We're saying no more about that, right, are we?
Yes.
Talking to Hugh and Ralph.
Do not recommend food poisoning.
Sorry,
I did say on air I was speaking to God down the porcelain telephone,
yes, you
screaming
did.
for Margaret and Rosemary.
So 1 leg to zip to Aspinall in a race to 6. Bunting did average 104 in losing to Littler last week. So
yes, he did.
The averages are there.
He averaged over a ton losing to Humphries the week before.
So his running average is better than some in this Premier League, despite the fact that he's still nul point. But he's slightly behind here, and a trebleless visit from 310 leaves him on 250. Aspinall 303 less these in leg 2.
Well, he's got a much bigger running average than the other 3 in the bottom 4, the 3 above him. He's averaging 98.25 in the Premier League so far.
Well, he's had a let-off there from Aspinall, 2 single 19s and a single 5. And now Bunty's back in the red bit, trying to get down to a finish. He's hit single 5, so he's coming downstairs and picks off treble 15 very nicely.
Yeah, rounds things off, leaves himself 140. Aspinall from 260 will need at least a ton here. Just weighing it up. He's stepped to the side. Well, he's gonna run for cover, but well, he can stay there now. Treble 19's found. The single leaves in 164.
So Aspinall took out 140 in the first leg. What's Bunty like in the second? Well, it won't go. Single 20, so 60 left. He's just going to set up for tops here. Will he be back for it? Aspinall wants 164 to break throw.
Yeah, can he back up the 140 with the 164? He's looking at 2 treble 19s and bull. Currently leads 1-0. Oh, long way off. Over-pitched.
Went for bull anyway and hit 25.
Yeah, good thinking that.
And a nice pick out of treble 20 to leave himself on 60. But Bunty, for 1-1, wants tops. Underneath, down to double 10. Hits the wire on the outside, moves across to the centre of the oche. Pins it.
Fabulous dart. Took himself out of his normal zone on the oche to move all the way left and made all the required adjustments. One apiece. Aspinall strikes back with a max.
Lots of moving parts in the Aspinall throw.
Yeah, there's a lot of movement to it. That's all the timing's got to be perfect for it to work. At the moment, Aspinall has 1 apiece at very early stages, but averaging 102.
Well, he's on for a 5th perfect dart. How about 6th? There you go.
Well, I think it's only fair. You and Abby had a 9. I get one.
Yeah. 141 left for Aspinall after 6. Bunting trying to get down from 367, just a tumble do. So here we go again. Not going to get 2 9-darters in one night, are we?
Had it before.
Treble 19. Oh, he's hit single 19. And the boos aren't really that meant. It's just disappointment.
Well, I'm surprised they're not cheering, because the last one that was it, there must have been 20 gallon of beer wasted.
Well, that's very true. And what he doesn't want to do now is lose the leg. He's down to 47. Many a tale of a player who misses a 9-darter and doesn't convert the leg. Now Bunty coming down from 267. Is that his first maximum? I think it is.
Yep.
Down to 87.
And now there's pressure on this, and he gets the single 15, double 16, nails it. 11-dart leg from Nathan Aspinall. Now leads 2-1 in a race to 6. This is the final match of our quarter-final games. If you are just joining us, Michael van Gerwen got a 6-3 win over a disappointing Gerwyn Price. Littler, very good against a very good Chris Dobey, just about pinching it 6-5. And Rob Cross, well, got the better of Luke Humphries 6-4 with 111 average, and despite the 9-darter from Humphries, it wasn't enough. And this one, well, Aspinall on throw leads 2-1.
10-year absence from the Premier League for Stephen Bunting before this year. Desperate to make an impression back on the weekly jamboree around not just this country and the British Isles, but also around continental Europe. Nights to come in Germany and the Netherlands, let's not forget.
Yeah, next week, Nottingham, local to me, of course, and the opening match. Wow, Humphries Littler.
Yeah,
a rerun of that incredible World Final just over a year ago.
So Bunting down to 161 in leg 4, but Aspinall pops in a max to pressurise the throw, down to 41.
I mean, the way things have gone for Bunting so far, as you've already said, he's the only player yet to win a match at this year's Premier League. You begin to think, well, this just isn't meant to be, and he'd be abnormal for his head not to drop.
9 for double 16 is the requirement for Aspinall. Hits the 9, just inside double 16. Next door is double 8 at 8 o'clock on the board. And he's inside that too. And he's very disappointed with that. It was a good inch inside there.
Yeah, well, I don't recall him. No, that's the first darts he's missed at a double in the match. Took the 140 out, of course.
Tops for Bunting. Oh, he's just underneath. Trying to level it up at 2-2. Aspinall can now break. Double 4. Just taking his time. Settling on the oche. And he's well inside double 4 like he was with 2-8. Double 2. That's more like it. Just gave Stephen Bunting a glimmer of hope there with how inaccurate he was on double 4, but double 2's all right. 3-1 the score in favour of the Asp.
Yeah, and almost accepting nod from Stephen Bunting. They've played each other. I think this is the 11th meeting between the two.
It is 6-4 to Bunty overall.
And he's won their last 3, and Aspinall will be aware of that. Sometimes a player will make the odd little jibe backstage as a bit of banter. Yeah, that was a horrible bounce out. That's the kind of bounce out that can sometimes break the points, and I think Nathan was just checking with Stephen that everything was still intact.
Seems to be.
At the moment, Aspinall averaging nearly 10 more than Bunting.
58.
So 3-1 to Nathan Aspinall in this race to 6 in this fourth quarter final. Bunting trying to get down from 4-6-1 against the throw to try and break back immediately. He's about 20 points behind after 6 darts.
Yeah, 303, so Aspinall will be looking at a minimum of, well, he would have been looking at a minimum of 719s to leave 170, but he's hit a single 19 that was a blocker, up for treble 20, found 2 of them, leaves 164. Bunting 3-2-1.
And he can't find a treble on this visit, although he does at the end. 99 scored. He's on Richie Benno, choo-choo-choo. Aspinall though 164, won't go. Can he get down to a 2-dart finish? 38 scored so far. Looking downstairs and picks off treble 19 to take it down to a 2-dart finish. Lovely darts again from Aspinall.
Both players have personal best averages of just over 117, and that's what when you talk about where's a player's ceiling, and it's a high one.
69 for Aspinall, treble 19 for double 6. Just settles himself again on the oche. Actually went treble 15. Left himself with 54. 14 leaves tops for a 4-1 lead for Nathan Aspinall. Yes.
Dublin's been very good, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Very, very good. Leads 4-1. Not taking his eye off the ball. Still looks very, very serious.
So it's 4-1. But just that one break of throw. Steady ton for Bunty, who had won 68% of his matches last year, his best ever year. He won 60% so far this year. Mentioned that he beat Price in January in the first World Series of Darts events, but he's up against it here, as you just heard from George Noble. Another max popped in by the Asp.
Yeah, I've been very impressed with him so far this evening. I mean, Bunty's not been at his brilliant best, but most of that is down to the play of Aspinall, just keeping him on that back foot, and he's in again. He's already been 7 into a 9. Oh, deflection into the 5, recovers brilliantly. And again, the Bunty throw being put under pressure. He's 108.5 the average for Aspinall, 98.2 for Bunting.
Bunty, who lost to Dobey at the UK Open with 2 Premier League players happening to meet. Remember, it's a random draw you get in the FA Cup of Darts. It just so happened they were pulled out the bag together by Alan Warren a little, and Dobey prevailed in that one. So not a good weekend in Minehead for the Bullet. And with Aspinall down on 56 and 4-1 up, 167 you sense has got to go. Treble 19 hit, treble 20 for Bull. No, he's just underpitched and the chance is gone.
140 checkout for Aspinall in leg one of this. Is his checkout of this year's Premier League campaign for himself. Tops again, just takes a regrip, pins it beautifully. His finishing has been top class. He's averaging close on 110, and he's 5 out of 8 on the doubles.
Just puts him one away from his semi-final against Rob Cross. And Aspinall has the darts in leg 7.
If he can hold here, that's making quite the statement, dealing with Bunty beating him 6-1.
Well, Bunting came up onto the stage looking very serious. He's going to leave the stage looking exactly the same way.
Yeah, week 1 Bunty was beaten 6-4 by Rob Cross, averaged 94. Then he was beaten 6-1 by a very good MVG who averaged 109. And then he lost 6-4 with 100.5 average. And then last week he was beaten by Littler 6-3, and Littler averaged 112, didn't he? And Bunty averaged nearly 105. Doing very little wrong, and he's walking into another monster number tonight.
As you look, you'll be thinking, but he just popped in a max there, Bunty. Not down on a finish yet, but he desperately needs to break back. Well, he can't afford any margin for error at this point, as Aspinall puts in a 45 from nowhere.
Yeah, he's grimacing with that. He knows that was a bag of nails, but a single 20, a small 5. Recovers well with a treble 20 with dart 3, down to 140, but Aspinall will be thinking 180 to leave double 18, get it done. Well, that ain't going to happen because he's hit a big 5.
Tries to recover, ends up pitting treble 17 there, Mace. That was nice cover.
Yeah, both on 140. We've already seen this in leg 1 from Aspinall. Shot's not on for Bunting, he's just over the top. Oh, 2 on the wire. Oh, 3 on the wire. 2 on the top wire, 1 on the bottom wire. Only 60. Sums up his night.
So Aspinall took out 140 to get his night underway. Can he do it to top and tail this match? Well, not at this point, no. He, like Bunty's, hit 2 single 20s on the top wire. 3 on the top wire.
Literally, all 3 were touching the treble 20 top wire. Both on 80. 1 to save the match, 1 to win it. Up first, Stephen Bunting gets the treble 20. 2 at double 10. And again, has to move over. And again, finds the double for the second time of asking this evening. So that's a break of throw.
But he needs another one because it's 5-2 to Nathan Aspinall in this race to 6. Rob Cross waiting in the second semi-final. Got the mouth-watering prospect of MVG against Littler to come in the first semi-final. 60 from Bunty to start leg 8. He has the darts. Oh, but Aspinall pressurising the throw straight away.
He's staying there. It doesn't look particularly inviting, but his line of fire, not quite what we can see. And he finds the treble 20. So as you say, Dance, put him right under the pump.
Decent cover on treble 17 when Bunty needed it.
I'm smart at thinking that, because that's the most you can finish in 6, 350, 180, 170 out.
Aspinall, 361 less this visit. He picks off not 3 but 6 19s. He has got the eye of the tiger tonight.
Yeah, 108 in front, minus these from Stephen Bunting. 242 Aspinall, 350 Bunting. 2 underneath the treble 20, and then over pitched on the 19s. This is Aspinall's to lose from here.
There was a shake of the head there from Bunty as the second dart was underpitched. I think he feels that the die is cast. Aspinall will get down to a finish from 242. How much will he eat into it? Oh, 180 points into it, that's how much. Just to turn the screw that little bit more.
Yeah, super impressed with Aspinall so far this evening. A good 140 from Bunty, but it's too little too late. Treble 10, double 16 incoming for Aspinall.
He's hit single 6 So 56 left, 16 would leave tops for the match. First match start. He's way over the top, good inch and a half over the top. Bunting's got to hit 151. Not a common 3-dart finish to go for, but not difficult.
The 161 is, of course, because the variables of tons and 140s, but he's nowhere near either of the trebles. Does find treble 18 to leave 60, just in case Aspinall miss tops. I don't think he will.
3 darts in hand for a 6-2 win, Nathan Aspinall. Only needs the one. And Stephen Bunting remains at the foot of the Premier League table and remains without a point after 5 weeks of action, whilst Nathan Aspinall makes another semi-final, and he is very, very pumped up, having got that 6-2 win over the Bullet. So he will face Rob Cross, and he looks super motivated tonight, the Asp.
Yeah, and he should be, dancing. That was a really good performance, one of his better performances of late. 106.46 the average, 618 is in there. He outplayed Stephen Bunting in every department that we covered, and he was 60% on his doubles, so every element of his game bang on the money, and that's going to be an interesting tie with Rob Cross. But first up is going to be MVG against Littler, the past against the present.
And Abby will join Mace for commentary on that one, both on talkSPORT 2 and the talkSPORT Darts YouTube channel, where we're bringing you all 7 matches every week of the Premier League. And don't forget our Talk Bull update. Tomorrow Harry Durham will be in conversation with Colin Lloyd and Bobby George, I believe, and that will go online on the talkSPORT Darts YouTube channel around 1-2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, reviewing the night's action. That's part of the content that we're constantly putting on the talkSPORT Darts YouTube channel. Thank you to all those of you who subscribe. We've got over 8,000 subscribers, 5 million views. We thank you so much for that. Next up then, it is Luke Littler taking on MVG in the first semi-final of the Premier League Darts on week 5 in Brighton. Well, when it comes to the Darts Premier League, the last thing you want is an online mishap throwing you off your game. That's where NordVPN's Threat Protection Pro steps up to the hockey. Think of it as your personal referee, keeping dodgy websites, malware and phishing scams from sneaking into your setup. It even blocks those pesky ads so you won't get distracted mid-leg. Just go to nordvpn.com/dartsvpn and you'll get 2 years plus 4 months free and a birthday deal into the bargain. It's risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. Littler against MVG is next.